I'm Hannah, and this is my colleague Aravind, and we're from the Supply Wisdom Risk and Resilience team. And we're really excited to be here today to talk about something that is very important and close to us, which is business interruptions and risk and resilience. Really thrilling topics, I know. And we want to talk to you today about what is happening in China and the cascading risk setup that is on the horizon from the scenario that's culminating in that area from a number of setup prospects. First and foremost being all of the changes that are happening over there, the spike in COVID cases and loosening of restrictions, leading up to one catalyst event possibility, which is Lunar New Year celebrations in the area. Chinese officials have indicated that they expect more than 2 billion trips through the country for this year's celebration. It's the largest yearly migratory celebration in the world. And what we're anticipating to see is a number of fallouts from that particular event. The first and foremost being a global tidal wave of new cases as people leave that region and they circulate back into other areas of the world. They're going to return and potentially bring additional cases of COVID back to those regions as well, leading to a spark in new cases across other regions all throughout the world in February and into March. Additionally, those new cases are then going to lead to large-scale worker absences. Worker absences will lead to missed production deadlines, supply chain shortages across every industry, and spiking operational costs, as well as reduced profits potentially for your business. So, what do you do with this spring forecast? How do you handle it? And how do you ensure that not only are your people and employees safe and protected, but also your business is hedged and prepared for these particular events? The first step is pretty straightforward. We've all been working in the past 3 years to implement health plans, ensure resiliency processes, and we should continue to do that. But what about the second tier? How can you take steps to mitigate and protect against interruptions from your supports and the suppliers outside of your company? And for the responses to those, I'm going to turn to my colleague, Aravind. Aravind?
Thanks, Hannah, for the detailed articulation of potential cascading risk scenarios. I'm Aravind. I have been in the business continuity and resiliency domain for almost 9 years now. The challenging questions businesses face in these situations would be, what will happen to my business if these risks materializes? Or what am I supposed to do to sustain my business? A simple answer to all such questions would be, have a good resiliency practice in place. By good practice, I mean building resiliency practices that are suitable to your business goals and strategies. The basic steps to start off with building resiliency towards these forecasted disruptive scenarios would be, have control of the situation. Continuously monitor risks by subscribing to a reliable source of information. Possess up-to-date information on all regulatory guidelines or restrictions and ensure timely compliance with the same. Ensure timely communication of situational updates, their impacts, and the company's action plans with the employees and other relevant stakeholders. Then prepare for the worst. Identify critical suppliers and third parties, assess their possible service disruptions in the region, and assess the possible business impacts that may incur due to their service disruptions, and determine mitigation plans to ensure continued level of service. Consider alternate suppliers in case the usual supplier may be unable to deliver services over a prolonged period. This will probably include finding suppliers in other areas and performing preliminary due diligence with them so that they can fill in as needed. Considering the operational impacts due to third parties operating at minimal capacities, always keep a check on the inventory of key raw materials regularly to plan in advance. If a company's supply chain is momentarily disrupted, keeping a reserve of completed items, components, or even raw materials may be necessary to keep the firm running. Then review and update business continuity plans as required and confirm with the suppliers as well if they have appropriately updated their plans to address these increased level of absenteeism, employee absenteeism, or unavailability of resources. So with that, your businesses should be in a good position to start off, with building a defense against the possible impacts that may incur due to the due to these potential risk scenarios being materialized.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your input on this, Aravind. And as always, if anybody has any questions, please reach out to us.